What is going on? Take two. Go. What is going on, my lovely DMG clan? I am going to eat your ass. Take three. Go. That is right, mobile gamers. Today we're going to do a simple button swap for these ABX and Y buttons on the Retroid Pocket 5. Why, you might ask? Well, because according to their website, you can buy sets of ABX and Y buttons, and they are basically backwards compatible, swappable, changeable. They were changeable on the Retroid Pocket 4 and 4 Pro, so I want to open this up and actually take a look at the buttons inside and see if we can actually swap them, which we should be able to, and have fun while doing so, and show you guys what the insides look like of your Retroid Pocket 5 if you haven't actually looked at this before. So don't forget to check out my Modding Monday videos, because I have a whole playlist called Modding Monday now, and I'm going to be doing certain things like this for Mondays, with it being mods like this, little simple ones, or full altering mods where I change things for devices like Game Boys and GBAs and all that kind of stuff, like any hacks, mods, anything for Modding Mondays. So hit that subscribe button if you like that kind of stuff, and don't forget to become a member, because members will be able to see some of these videos early. I'm going to have a whole playlist worth of videos that are going to be just about mods, because I have a lot of stuff I have been wanting to mod lately, just haven't got around to it. So this video, again, is for only Modding Mondays. Check out the playlist. Maybe there's a video in there that you want to check out just because you think modding is fun. So first thing I like to do when I take apart my Odin 2 or my Retroid Pocket 5 devices, take off the joystick caps, and then grab this styrofoam piece that came with your device. The reason why is because this will raise up the device from actually pressing into the blue mat. All of the tools that I use here today are going to be in affiliate links for Amazon in the description below as well, and I highly recommend you to get these, because like this blue mat is really awesome. It's not that big, it rolls up and everything, so you can just keep it aside somewhere. This little kit is a rechargeable battery kit for using a screwdriver, and an electric screwdriver actually makes, you know, the job a lot easier and quicker. And yeah, you can get a whole bunch of other tools like prying tools and little plastic tweezers and stuff like that. I highly recommend you to get that kind of stuff, because if you're doing a lot of this kind of stuff, then you definitely want to have this kind of tools. The other thing when you get into modding or anything like that is obviously power down your device, and that's what I'm going to do right now. And then I'm going to flip this upside down. Now you're going to investigate your device. You're going to look at it, see that there's 4 screw holes here, and you're probably going to want to take out your micro SD card if you have one. This one doesn't have a micro SD card, because this game or this console is basically just used by my daughter, and she plays Minecraft Java Edition on it. So yes, we are going to start with these 4 screws. Now the really cool thing about this pad, as I've stated before, is that it does have a numbering system, so you can keep your screws together, but I'm going to assume that all 4 of these screws are the same length, and if I get one that's not the same length, then I will put it on a number pad or something. But honestly, these back 4 screws should be the same length. We're only going to be working on this side of the device today too. I haven't opened up the Retroid Pocket 5 yet. I've been wanting to for quite some time, but I thought it'd be cool to have like a Modding Monday kind of series or playlist, because I have other things like this Game Boy Advance. I bought this Game Boy Advance almost a year ago, and I bought like kits and everything for it with screens and everything, and that's going to be part of my Modding Monday guide. Yeah, this thing is, you know, a little bit old. It still works, but this is my Game Boy Advance that I bought a year ago, because I kind of regretted selling my original Game Boy Advance, and I thought the purple one would be awesome, or the indigo color one would be awesome to have again. So I bought it, then it just kind of sat on my shelf. Now let's get into how to crack this open. So I took out all those 4 screws. Now I like to take a look at these devices and see where I can get in them. So as you can see here, I was already able to just split that apart a bit, and I can get inside that with plastic. Now don't use metal spudgers, because metal will scratch the plastic a lot more, where the plastic spudger is plastic, it shouldn't actually scratch the plastic, or at least not as much. Now I'm going to pull this back. So I took apart an Odin 2 last week, and yeah, this is basically how we're going to take this apart, because, or an Odin Portal that is, and it basically pried off. As you can see here, it just pried right back, which is nice and easy, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So all I did there again is pulled back on this a bit. Don't pull on it too hard, you don't want to break the plastic. Got inside here, started pressing until that got inside there, and just slid it across. Make sure that you have all your screws out obviously first. Sometimes you forget a screw or something, but that is very important. Now just keep wiggling that until you actually get in there, and now you can see the inside of the device. Now you can see all the little, you know, connectors, the tabs and everything, and how the push tabs go in and everything. So there you go, kind of give yourself an idea of how everything goes back together, but obviously it's just going to press back inside. Now you can take a look at your insides of your device. Very cool, right? If AYN and Retroid aren't the same company or aren't affiliated or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna call them liars again, because obviously these devices look a lot alike and they definitely look the same on the inside, except for obviously the layout's a little bit different because the one device is bigger than the other. But I'm just going there because I remember doing a video last year that I said I think these companies are exactly the same. One's just doing smaller devices, the other one's doing bigger devices, and they're owned by Morchip. I know some people say, oh, aren't they the same company? But they tell me that they're not affiliated whatsoever. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that I like to bring that up every once in a while. So we're going to take a look at the screws. There's these two up here. There's this one right here, this one. And I'm not sure if we have to take the speaker out, but if we do, then there's two screws for the speaker with a little wire right here. Now, again, this is all up to preference too. There is a battery probably tab somewhere. It's probably underneath all of this stuff, but since we're not working on this side of the device, we shouldn't have to get in there. But that is basically why I'm telling you that, is just basically so you know. Now you can take a look at all the other stuff for this device and see, like, you know, the plastic and everything, and kind of just take a look at how it's all put together if you want to, and have fun with it. Now again, I'm going to number these screws. Be careful with these top two screws because I'm just going to use not the electric part of this, but there is a magnet. This magnet's going to try to grab that screw as soon as I pull it out. I'm going to tell you that right now, and it's probably going to shoot it all the way over to that piece. So I got it all the way out mostly, and I'm going to try to grab it with my tweezers, and there we go. Put that at number 1. Okay, now this magnet right here, very strong, and it's going to try to grab your screw, so just pay attention, make sure you don't forget that that screw got grabbed, and then try to grab it with something. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. There we go, I got it out perfectly fine. Now we're going to work on the rest. So let's unscrew all of this. Maybe we only need to take out, oh no, we'd have to take out probably the whole thing, but there we go. That whole piece just pops off just like so. So that's all one piece, and there's a screw in there. So I'm going to leave that in there actually. And I'm going to take out this bottom. This is probably for the joystick. So that's what I'm going to assume. And remember, all we're doing here today is just basically swapping out those A, B, X, and Y buttons. We're not putting in like new buttons or anything. And the reason for that is just because my daughter, and yeah, we have to be careful of that ribbon cable, she plays on this and she always asks me, oh, which buttons do I press? Because they're swapped. So yeah, we're going to try to focus on this. Thanks, camera, for not focusing again. We're going to pop this little tab up right here, and we're going to pull this ribbon cable out nicely, and there's that joystick all in one piece right there. Pay attention to this dust cover, because this dust cover goes on before we actually put that back in, okay? Now, a lot of people are commenting on like Discord and stuff like that because their dust cover comes out somehow. I don't know how it's been coming out, but they shouldn't be coming out like that. The other thing is, I just dropped my two screws somewhere, so I gotta look for that. There's one. Oh, I put the other one over there. Okay, so I just dropped the one screw. Now, you might want to get this speaker out. I'm not sure though if it really needs to come out if we're just going underneath. This piece right here, this is on like a swivel post. Be careful of this little piece of plastic because you don't want to break that. So just put that up there, and you're gonna have to flip up this black tab and pull out that ribbon cable. You can use your finger, or you can use the pointy end of your spudger tool if you have a spudger tool like this, or a toothpick of some sort. Make sure you be careful with it. Now again, this is a very thin ribbon cable, and another tool that I like to use, which comes with a lot of kits, is this metal one, and I'm going to, there we go, just wiggle it back and forth until you get it out. Now just be careful again, I'm not taking any blame if somebody breaks their ribbon cable by mistake. That's all up to you. If you do this kind of stuff, that is my disclaimer, this is all up to you. Okay, now I'm going to unscrew these, and these screws are all the same, so it really doesn't make a difference. These ones are not. So these two right here for the actual PCB, they're going to go on 21 and 22 just because that's what I chose. And we're going to remember that those are the shorter screws on 21 and 22. Okay, there we go. 21, 22. Yeah, those are both the same. These tall ones, these are for the ones that go in through the actual plastic pieces like this. Now, let's see if we can just flip this up, which we should be able to do. Yes, we can. Be careful of that ribbon cable right there. That goes all the way across to the main motherboard so that this board has some actual power to it and actually is able to be used. Now we're going to pull out the buttons. Now, these buttons, I don't know why AYN and Retroid decided to do this like this, but I really hate that they ended up making these buttons glued down. makes no freaking sense whatsoever. I don't understand this at all, but that's just my opinion. Now, you're gonna have to peel these off very nicely without trying to rip it, and hopefully we can do that because these are a little bit smaller than the actual AYN ones, but if you're very gentle with it, you should be able to get them peeled off. Now I'm going to try a different approach with these ones because these are very glued in here. I'm going to try to like use something sharp right here. Just make sure you don't rip your D-pad or your membranes. And I'm just scraping at this white, just trying to get underneath it. There we go. See? Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand their concept behind that. I don't know why they started doing that. It doesn't make any sense at all. Most controllers that I've ever held and taken apart never have the D-pad or the membrane, the rubber membrane kind of glued down. So let's pull that off. There we go. And we'll do the same thing on these ones. So basically I'm just trying to scrape a little bit of that glue away and just peeling it back like that. And we'll do the next one. There we go. And done. Okay, now we're gonna have to get rid of like the rest of that glue off there and stuff. You can use some side cutters or something too. Yeah, you can just like try to trim around the edge like I am. There we go. Just kind of trim that plastic around the edge and then try to get rid of all that glue. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then you can probably try to take a look at any excess glue that's in here if there's any. Now, the one big thing to note, so the ABX and Y buttons, they are basically centric to the actual buttons themselves, but you can actually cut off. So see how there's two tabs on the top and the bottom? You can cut off the B. So that's what I did with my Retroid Pocket 4. You can cut off this tab right here so that it'll fit in the B or the A slot. And then the A, you can cut off this tab right here so it'll sit in the B slot or vice versa. So now that that's cut off, that plastic, make sure it's kind of as flush as you can. These buttons are basically the same now. And the same thing with the ABX or the X and Y buttons. So we'll just have to take note of which way they go. So that goes like this. Yeah. So we're going to snip off the top tab for the Y and this left little tab for the X. Now you can buy these buttons on their website too, and they're already snipped off like that. But if you don't want to buy them and you just want to swap them just like I'm doing, then you can definitely do so. So let's grab these and put them in the new spots because I want the A to be at the bottom. So this is the A. And it looks like we might have to actually cut off because they didn't do the same thing they did with the other ones. So the B button and the A button, see how there's like a flat ridge on the bottom of the B button? You're gonna have to like cut off that bottom, kind of give it like a flat ridge. I was looking at that with the ABX or the X and Y buttons. So all I did is just went as flush as I could right here. And now I can seat that in there rather than having to, like I said, buy new sets of buttons. And there we go. Now it's going in. Perfect. And now the B button is going to go up here and that'll fit fine because it's already centric to that. But same with the X. So the X, you're gonna have to sit it like this with the two fatter tabs on the right hand side. And then we're going to try to get it as middle as possible and give it a flat kind of surface on this side. Okay. So the X is gonna go, why can't I think? Where's the Xbox controller when I need it? Yeah, there it is. There's an Xbox controller for you. So the X is going to go right here. I'm sure you guys are probably like, oh, I could have told you that. I'm gonna grab my tweezers because I put it in the wrong way. Go. That went in. And now the Y wants to go back in the Y slot. That's not where I want it. Here we go. Now, rubber membranes. Now, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty much flat across. So let's go like this. I had this issue with yeah, it's all the same. The Odin portal, I thought it was different, but we're gonna flip that back over. Make sure you pay attention to these little tabs right here by the joystick and put that back down. And now we can screw it back into place. So again, these were the smaller ones first. Now let's make sure we pay attention to where those go because these two right here, we can check out those buttons quick first. Okay, perfect. They feel a little bit softer now too. You know how these used to be like super clacky? That feels a lot better. Yeah, we swapped it. That's awesome. Okay, it's working good. Now let's put in the ribbon cable and then everything back out, everything else back in. Make sure you get that black or white and black line lined up nicely and push that down. And then you're going to put the ribbon cable in first before you put the joystick in. Make sure that tabs up. Make sure you slide that in there nicely. Make sure the white line that's on the black tab or the black ribbon cable is lined up to the white of the push tab and make sure it's straight and then push that tab down. I only know this part because I've taken apart the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro and the Odin 2 and everything. We're using a Phillips P00 bit, by the way, or PH00. I don't know why that screw's not in. Oh, there we go. No, still not. Let's take this screw out for a second. I know I didn't put the screw in the wrong spot. Not lined up. Okay, let's put that one in first maybe. There we go. I don't know what the heck was going on there. It wasn't lining up with the hole. Okay, now let's put this back in. Now make sure you have that little rubber still in there. It shouldn't fall out, but it should be in there still. And let's put this back up here. Put that one screw that was still in there back in, and the rest of them. Now when we do this top one, what I did with the portal was I pushed this down and tried to get it so that the screw wouldn't get magnetized. So let's flip that over. So push that down, the magnet, and then try to get that in the hole and then get it in there as quick as possible and then start screwing it. Sounded dirty. Okay, and now we have the back plate and we can screw this back in and check it out. Okay, I'm not going to screw mine back on because I'm doing something after, but that's not going to be for a modding video. I just wanted to check something out after. Now we can check out all the buttons, make sure everything's good to go, make sure everything's still reacting the way we would hope it would. And yeah, they're still kind of clacky, but I just wanted it so that the ABXY was on that side instead. Well, that's strange. I've never had the Retroid Pocket 5 just get stuck on the boot logo before. Try this again. Well, that sucks. Not sure what's going on. So if you made it this far in the video, I ended up actually fixing it. I flashed the stock firmware, as you see here. It's back to business. So it's back and working. I don't know what happened. I must have flashed a bad module, but the Retroid Pocket 5 is still alive, and there's the ABXY buttons. I think I must have just flashed something wrong. Maybe a bad Magisk module, which sometimes happens. Bye-bye!